Hello, and welcome to Millennial Anti-Terrorizers. And today we're going to be talking about the federalization of Washington, D.C., and what veterans like ourselves would think, like what we would do if we were in the same type of scenario. So, Beth, why don't you go ahead and start us off and tell us what you think about everything going on in Washington, D.C.?
Yeah. Um, there's a lot kind of going on, and like I know we've had podcasts about this before about the chaos that's kind of go on, but the fact that Trump is finally putting his foot down and trying to, what's the word I'm looking for, mediate, I guess, the streets and stuff like that within our cities. I'm happy, especially in Washington D.C., because that's I feel like from what I was learning is like once that place is taken over, then it kind of establishes who's got control. So by going into Washington D.C. and just taking care of the problems that are going on the streets with the protests or the violence and stuff like that. That I feel like can kind of be the place where we can start taking control of our country again, starting with Washington D.C. and fixing the things that are going on there first.
Mm, mm. And Brody, how about you going on? What's going on in Washington, D.C. with it being federalized?
Well, I did a bunch of research and I did find out some of the truth on both sides. They are kind of spouting some truths. So, like the crime rate, like, why are we even doing this? Okay.
Oh, I
The
saw that.
crime rate is definitely down since the 90s. The 90s, DC was like the murder capital of America. Okay. It was really bad for violent crimes. We are at a 30-year low, but since 2012, crime has been steadily going up, up, and up. And last year, or no, 2023 was the highest crime year in DC. So for me personally, how it affects me, uh, I wanted to take a trip this year with my son to go to DC and see, what I fought for. I've never been there before,
Yeah.
but like when we started planning it like earlier this year, I'm like, God, man, like I'm looking at the crime statistics and shit like that, and I don't have my license to carry there or anything like that, so it's kind of like freaky. But now it's like, okay, you're cleaning out all the homeless, which has a side effect that I will talk about in a minute. Uh, but you're cleaning out the homeless and you're basically making sure all the streets are safe and stuff like that. Now I have no worries. Now it's like, oh damn, like another month of this, and it's gonna be the perfect time to go and see that
Mhm.
and not feel like, have to be guarded all the time.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like I'm really extremely glad that they're bringing a National Guard. They're fighting back all the crime and stuff like that. Uh, to touch on the homeless scenarios, so my wife works for the VA, and she works in a program where they have like residential mental health treatment, stuff like that. Uh, there's a good thing and a bad thing that I see with removing the homeless. They didn't prepare for what to do with them, and that
Mm.
kind of irks me a little bit. It's like if you knew you were going to go in there and clean out the homeless, fine, build temporary shelters. Shit, I'd like to see bee huts, like we had.
Mhm.
But it seems like they're scrambling. She's getting calls left and right trying to get vets that are homeless from DC to get beds somewhere. And the program that my wife's part of, it's a treatment program. It's for mental health, like substance abuse, so you can work on your issues. It's not a
Okay.
hotel. It's not you can just throw veterans in there. It's a
Yeah.
whole program. So if they're desperate enough to try to take beds away from my wife's program, you really get an idea that they didn't plan for this at all. And
Okay.
so I think that's kind of a poor decision on their part. If they knew they were going to do this, they should have had camps set up or some kind of way to deal with what the repercussions are of removing the homeless. But I don't know, man. I think it's a positive thing anytime we stop crime, and I can't believe people are even protesting it. And even from like the overly militarization viewpoint of it, you know, I mean, I don't want to see soldiers walking down the streets where I'm at. That's not something that you want to see here. It almost feels
Yeah.
like, kind of dystopian type government. But at the same time, we have genuine issues here with crime. Why aren't the National Guard in Portland? Why aren't they? I mean, we got them in LA. Like, start sticking them in every major city until we stop and get a hold of the crime. I don't
Yeah.
understand why anyone would be opposed to taking back our country and making it safe. What about
Right.
you, Nolan?
Yeah.
So, when it started off, there was little snippets here on X, and they were talking about these, like, DC being the fourth murder capital of the United States, and like Brody was saying, like, it's nowhere near the 80s and 90s, because back then they were having 11 to 14 homicides a day. Um, Now they're having about it was like more than one a day or something like that, but tremendously lower. But then they were talking about how many guns they were pulling off of the street. Like, each night they sounded like they were pulling like 8 different guns off the street.
Wow.
They were murder homicides down 30%.
Yeah. I see that.
But I think is what it was is, for a long time, DC crime was in certain areas, and now it's just everywhere because you have the youth going around anywhere they want. And that was another problem that they were talking about. That there was no uh, youth out after curfew, and the youth were a big problem in a lot of this because they just don't give a fuck. They're at that age, and a lot of the adults, taxpayers, people with jobs and mortgages that they interviewed, they were loving it. They were happy. They hadn't seen it this clean and this safe and in a long time, if forever. They were very pleased with all the results. And then they showed a video, and it was jokingly saying National Guard beating the shit out of old black woman, and it's literally a National Guardman carrying like the little grocery box thing on wheels down the stairs to the subway for a black lady, where she's holding on to his arm and everything. And she was old; she had a wig and everything on, and it's like this lady only goes out for church and groceries,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and she was going down those stairs with getting helped by a National Guardsman, and he just kind of afterwards, he just kind of smiled at his guardsmen, his squad mates, and they just kind of like went about their time and everything.
Aw.
And I'm like, it would be kind of fun to uh, be there just solely as a symbol to the people that you're not forgotten, that we care about you, and we're here to help you, and we're not here to harm you in any way whatsoever, because it's the U.S. military, and that is an image that we've strived to hold and protect for a very, very long time. And I think that's what Brody was hitting on, like, with the military. It's kind of weird when you see the military out on US soil, because we're kind of hidden from the public for that reason. Like, we never want to militarize and politicize the military ever. Um, and welcome to the discussion, Alex. We're talking about the federalization in Washington, D.C., with the National Guard and other federal law enforcement agencies patrolling Washington, D.C. Go ahead and tell us what you think about all that.
So crime's down about 45% all around.
It's 30, 33. Who knows? It's
Yeah, we should do that in every major city, bruh. Fucking you breaking down crime across the nation down by 30%, not just in one
yeah, not
local
too much.
area.
Ditto.
Fucking no, not much. This is just from what you guys have told me just now, and what everybody was talking about over the last couple of days of what we were going to have the topic on. That's when I first found out about that shit. I was like, what? Eighth and
Yeah,
nine
I know,
boys are
right?
getting down too? They just letting Marines off the leash all around the country. It's like, God damn, dude, where was that at when I was in?
No, right? It's like you're doing all the fun stuff.
Like, oh shit, hey, we had a quote, we were doing a reduction in forces, but now we've got riots going on around all across the country. Hey guys, you guys are gonna just be in like a whole nother branch of the Marine Corps. Look, we're just gonna put you guys on standby. We'll let you guys out after we put you to over here. You're gonna
Yes.
deal with this shit for a little long. So your EAS date's getting extended out a little bit. Like, all right, man, I'll take that shit. But it's like, cause the only thing I seen um further would be like I just saw a video of the one lady. What's her nuts? The lady that like speaks for the president
Oh, Pam
whenever there's
Bondi,
like,
the
yes, like one
secretary.
of
I mean,
those,
that's
yeah, just some like hey, this is what's going on, what's going down. I'm gonna step in and just tell you guys because the head honcho is busy with other shit, and she was going on about Venezuela or something. So it's like we're having drug trafficking problems from more than just one country.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that
That'd be
was
about the only thing I heard.
there's some naval ships off the coast of Venezuela right now, and then it showed a video of, I shit you not, the Venezuelan president's brother doing like kung fu moves out in front of the palace in front of a crowd, and he's like, this is how I will, fight the imperial Yankees and this and that, doing his kung fu. And I'm like, we're in a matrix, man. We're in a
Yeah.
matrix.
He's been
When you
watching too
see
many of
shit
those
like
Bruce Lee
that,
movies.
you're just like, am I hallucinating this shit? You're like,
God damn, I was in that shit, man. I never had no dope like that before in my life, man. That's the heaviest shit I ever smoked, man. I mean, I smoked a lot of shit before, man. But goddamn, man, that's heavy shit.
You okay?
I can't breathe.
What's your man?
I can't breathe, man.
seriously, this guy's doing kung fu out in front of the fucking palace and all, talking about he's gonna fight American might. Like,
Hey
man,
man,
that's as bad as Baghdad Ali. Remember Baghdad Ali? The guy, the Americans are nowhere near. Boom! The Americans are close.
drugs must be that good, man. So this is what I'm gonna do. This is how I'm gonna take out the American. Just be smoking off something and then go out to the front balcony, dude. That's just his Tai Chi moment.
Yeah. What'd you think about doing federal service? Like, if you actually got deployed, Alex, what did you think? Or no, let's start with Beth. Beth, what do you think being federally deployed, in DC or a major metropolis, like with you being in the Marines, which would be different because uh, they haven't used Marines outside of LA, you know, but the National Guard is normally the primarily go to go. So how would you feel about it with them actually using federal troops?
I mean, hey, if they got to do what they got to do. I mean, I know we have our police force, but I saw like, especially in LA, how they were having problems with the spitting and the writing on top of the police officer. So yeah, it became a problem to where they started getting the National Guard, but it's like it was never enough. So getting the Marines in there, it's kind of like mommy and daddy. National Guard's mom. The Marines are the dad. Yeah, we'll be cute and soft to you, but the Marines, we're gonna put our foot so far up your butthole that you're gonna like, okay, we'll listen. And that's not what's happening. And that's what Trump is kind of also saying. He's like, you're gonna bring all this type of force on us and all this pain and suffering. We're just gonna turn it around. You spit, we hit, is what his motto was. And I like that because it's like it's that gentle parenting. It goes back to your special forces, the National Guard. They've not been in a type of combat that an active duty person is. So that's why I feel they're like the mother. They're the gentle parenting, and we're trying to make you do what you're fucking supposed to do. But they too freak out a little bit when things get a little too hostile. So that's why they bring the Marines in, and we're just gonna put again that foot up your butt. You need to stop what you're doing. You're gonna do it whether you like it or not, kind of thing. And I'm like, I'm okay with that because there's 3 of us that are Marines here, minus the Army, that guy that knows it too, that we get shit done. We don't play games. I'm like, we defended this country. We're gonna take it back whether you like it or not. So that's what I believe about the Marines. They're getting stuff done.
All
Bernie?
right.
I'll try to take another aspect of it because I believe the same thing. I think if you call in the Marines, there's a reason. So
That's bad. Yeah,
uh,
tell us.
I think maybe we should touch on just a little bit of like why people are so against it. I think
Yeah.
people forget the training and the oath that we take and what we're actually about. We're not here to take over America under, military rule. Okay?
Right.
That's not I haven't met a single military member that has been part of the man, the machine type stuff, like we're genuinely care about this country. We wouldn't have volunteered if we didn't. So a lot of people that are kind of scared of that know that we really do have the right intention on what we're trying to accomplish. Um, if you call in the Marines, there's it's not a protest that we're breaking up. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's not a protest anymore. You
Nope.
can peacefully protest anywhere you want in this country. We fought for your right to do that. But when you start throwing bricks at ICE members,
Yeah.
that's not a protest anymore. You're not. That's totally separate thing. As soon as you enter into violence, you're no longer protesting. And so I think on the civilian side, while it might be a little bit scary to see federal troops in any kind of capacity on the streets of America, you have to realize that there is a good damn reason for it. And we're not trying to take over America and rule with an iron fist. It's the
Right.
complete opposite. We're trying to protect your freedom to just walk safely down the damn street. I think
We want it
anyone
too.
who is protesting, you need to do better. You need to really dig deep and start realizing what is your message here. Are you just violently attacking federal people? Or are you trying to make a difference with your actual words and protest? Because if you're just attacking us and attacking the government and attacking local people, like, I mean, they were in LA, they were even attacking the people that were trying to fix electricity.
Oh
That's like,
yeah.
what do you, at that point, you got to start realizing and do better yourself as a protester, as a civilian. Like, you don't want to see the Marines come and fucking put some pepper ball in your face? Then stop.
In the face! In the face!
Let's put them in the gas chamber.
How about you, Alex? What would you feel like if they did federal service, federal troops went in there like Chicago or something like that?
Just like just kind of capping on what Brody said again. It's like, dude, if you got to send the military in, you're not protesting then. You're being destructive vandalism. If you're hiding, if you got to go to a protest and wear a whole fucking face cover, yeah, you're going to fucking do something that you're not supposed to be doing, destroying other people's property and businesses. That ain't protesting, dude. That's exactly what we as defenders of this country took the oath to fucking serve this country for, to defend this country from both foreign and domestic violence. So now you are domestically destroying and domestically violently destroying our country through your protest. Yeah, come on, dude. No wonder why you get, the 2-7 2nd Battalion 7th Marines. That's a fucking legit active duty. They did a lot of shit during fucking Iraq and Afghanistan, Vietnam, World War II, and so on. You're calling on a unit that has served throughout the countless fucking wars we've been in every single major conflict, and those guys ain't gonna fuck around, dude. Even though it's not the same boys that did it fucking those decades ago, the training, the backing behind those units is still there. Those guys are still gonna be trained up just like they were back in fucking 1945, 1939, 19 fucking 65. Like that training is just another stepping stone of what we get trained on while we're in boot camp in today, dude. It's just like that's the basic fundamental training you're gonna fucking get above all what we're training with and using for today's. So it's like, dude, to call on an active duty fucking unit like that means like, yeah, dude, we had to take it a step above fucking the National Guard because of how fucking crazy it's getting. That's, it's almost like what do they say? Don't poke the bear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, or something like
There's the
that.
bear, dude. The bear is a fucking, any active duty unit that fully wears the camis and does the training and does all that for a living, day to day to day, not just fucking on the weekends once or twice a month. No, that's a big difference, dude. And so if they had to get that level of these are the guys that we want out to fucking start policing the cities, then y'all fucking up out there. Protesting is supposed to be peaceful. There's supposed to be a message behind it. There's supposed to be a time and place to do it, you know. And above all, if you're just some kid out there, you ain't got no right to fucking be out there protesting. You're still some high school kid. You need to get your ass in fucking school and learn what protesting is about. Because you ain't at the level to be out there protesting and getting involved in that stuff. You're a kid, dude. You ain't got the adult mind capacity to understand what that's gonna be putting you through, so that when the cops come by and arrest your ass, mommy and daddy, they ain't gonna be calling up mommy and daddy to fucking come get you, dude. You're in a fucking situation now where your ass is on the fucking line. And if you're some kid out there doing that, then you ain't ready for that shit, because that
Yeah.
you're learning the wrong from what's out there actively versus how to do it, I guess, professionally. Yeah, there's a professional way to protest and send your message, and it's supposed to be peaceful, dude. You know,
Right.
nowadays it's just it's just nonsense rioting. You're rioting and destructing and you're rioting and destroying and terrorizing your communities under the guise of a protest. That's unsat. That's un-American right there. That sounds more like terrorism to me.
Well, I think that's what Trump did is he stopped the major protests like we expected again this year with when Gavin Newsom wouldn't send in the National Guard and he sent in the Marines. When he sent in the Marines, that's when Gavin Newsom sent in the National Guard. And the reason why he did that is yes, the Marines can fulfill riot duties and they have in the past. What we're all talking about is we would do it a lot more harsher than a National Guard unit. And the reason why is because National Guard units are specifically trained to deal with things in the U.S., whether it be a national disaster like flooding or forest fires, all the way down to riot and protests. Um, we all fought for our rights and the Constitution, and under the First Amendment, you have a right of freedom of speech and protesting. But when it becomes civil unrest and you're destroying your community, it's no longer a peaceful protest. You're breaking your law, like we're all talking here. And I hope that National Guard units aren't deployed in more major cities across the U.S. But if that's what it takes for local law enforcement to get the help that they need, the relief that they need to back up their officers in other zones that they'll need, then so be it. Because the unfortunate truth is, 4 National Guardsmen are about the same price as 1 cop in a major metropolis. So it's a lot cheaper in the long run. So we don't know who or what will happen in the future, but let's just keep our eyes open and see what we hear. Thank you for watching Millennial Anti-Terrorizers. This was our episode on Washington, D.C. and the federalization of it.